This tutorial is to show you the features of Gmail and what you can do with the new updated features in Google Mail. To get to Google Mail, you can simply open up a window browser, a Chrome tab. And when you open up your Chrome tab at the top, you'll see the icon that says Mail. If you're not already signed into Google, you will simply enter your Albert Lee Schools credentials, which would be your full email address, first name dot last name at alschools.org, and your password. If you are logged in, you'll see your icon over here, and you can get to Mail by either clicking on Mail or your app launcher, which are the 9 dots. Kind of looks like the waffle, and you can click on the Mail icon there. I've opened up my Gmail for you to show you some things in here, but for privacy, I'm looking at my snoozed emails, which I don't have any in there. One of the things that you notice right away with your Gmail is there's an updated look to it from last year, which makes it a very clean using interface, and it is very nice, pleasing to the eye. So first thing you do if you're wanting to compose an email, you can click up on the top left-hand corner where you've got the compose, and this will open up your email, and you can type in your subjects and who it is that you're trying to send an email to. You can put your subject line here. Subject line is very important because that also is how conversations work. We'll talk about that here in a moment. The body of your email would go into here. And if you are wanting to insert or attach files, you could attach files through here, insert a link, insert a file from your Google Drive down at the bottom. And a really neat feature of using any Google tool is if you hover over something, it will tell you what it does when you hover over it. So that's one way that you can send a mail message. By default, you have your inbox. You can star emails to make them important. If you snoozed an email, said you marked it that you wanted to come back and look at it later, you can see it there. You can also look in your sent mailbox, your drafts, and any other groups that you might have. Again, for privacy, I've just got mine set to snooze so that I don't have all my emails out here for everyone. In the bottom left-hand corner here, you can see it's got a nice link up to Google Voice and Google Hangouts, and this is where it'll show you your last Google Hangouts that you've been a part of, and you can check into and see your Google Hangouts and Google Voice. Over here on the right-hand side, it's got a great little link to your calendar. So if I can click on that, it will open up my Google Calendar. This is a really cool feature that Google has put into this updated look so that when I'm looking at my email, I can also see what is going on in my calendar. So if I'm trying to coordinate or find something that I need to make dates, I can see those looking at my calendar, and it's set up by day. I can move forward, I can move backward. Also with that, I can, in this side window, I can go to Google Keep, which is a location where I can store notes and different reminders, task lists that I might want to reference into my emails as well. And then the last one here would be your tasks. If I have a task list, things like that, we'll talk a little bit about what tasks do for you. A couple of things I want to go over with you guys is your settings. And so if you click in the settings wheel, that's going to open up your Google settings. Right now, you can change to go back to the classic mail in October timeframe. They're going to set it up so that you cannot go back to it. So I highly recommend you stay with the new look because they have tried to make it to be a little bit easier on the eye and a little bit nicer. But what you can do is under the display density, you can change how you want your display to look. By default, this is the default view, which you have the user that you've got. And the big thing that you notice here is it'll have your attachments will be highlighted or look larger so that you can see quickly where you have an attachment. You can change to the comfortable view, which is more like the classic view, where your attachments are simply indicated with the paperclip. The compact view adds more items to your mailbox, and so you just see more items at one time. Really is up to you. I prefer the default view, but you really can make anything that you would like to make with it. So that's one way that you can get to your default view. So then what you can do here is your next setting that we want to look at is how do we configure our inbox. When you configure inbox, there's a couple of tabs that you can do. I use the primary tab. I don't really go with the social tabs. If you do a lot with social media, Twitter, things like that, you can do that. I prefer to have all my mail set up at once. but you can click these icons on, and if it'll tell you what it is. If somebody's trying to sell me something, it will go under my promotions tab. If there's an update or a forum, it would give you that. So you could have different tabs to your mailbox, and really this is just personal preference. I like one mailbox. It makes it nice and easy for me, but you can choose to have multiple mailboxes if you would like to. When you get into the actual settings of your mail, this is where we're going to get into some things that I'm going to encourage you guys to do. So the first one, under your general settings, you have lots of tabs that you've got over here. So under your general settings, you can also show here how many emails you would like to see at one time. So I've got mine set to 50. You can change it up to 100. You can have 10. So it's entirely up to you. I got on here that I like to see the images when I'm opening up my email, but I can choose to not do those. This one right here is an absolute, what I would say, a must for you. The undo send. When by default this is not on, and so what you can do is if you change this, you can go up to 30 seconds. What this will do is if you send an email, down here in the lower left hand corner for 30 seconds, you'll see a button that says undo. Maybe you forgot to send an attachment, maybe you forgot to spell something correctly. You can simply click the undo button and it will undo your what you've done. After 30 seconds, it's gone and you can't take it back. But that's a great thing to have on there. You also have on here your default reply. I don't have one of them checked because sometimes I can choose to reply to everyone or just reply to one person. So I like to make that determination my own. But what you can do is if you would like to, you can select and say, I want to reply to everybody. Here you can change your text styles that you would like your text to look like. You can change the font, the color, the those kinds of things. Just be very careful with that. You are professional with the Albert Lee School Districts. You want to make sure that your email is represented appropriately. So we don't want to make anything too colorful or too fancy. We want to make something that's going to be easy for people to read. So I don't do a lot with this. Conversation view. By default, conversation view is on. You can choose to turn conversation view off. What conversation view does for you is when it is on, it groups emails based on their subject line it lumps them all together to as if it was a conversation. So say we're looking at an email that's titled lunch duty. Everybody that is emailed back and forth, I reply, you reply, we keep going back and forth. All of those emails will be moved together so that you can track the history of the conversation. If you have conversation view off, it's your traditional mailbox where my last message in is going to be on the top. So when I get a message at 8:05, it goes to the top. I get a message at 8:06, it goes to the top above the 8:05 message. So it's your last message you receive is the first message you see on top. When you do conversation view, the last message that you receive to the conversation will be towards the bottom of the conversation because it gives you a history of kind of looking at a text message or a text string so you can see everything that's going on with your conversations. I like the conversation view, but some people don't like it. So you can definitely choose to turn it on or off, and you can change these settings at any time. Um, this is nudges. So the nudges is a great thing. So if you have an email, Google will try to identify emails that have information like, when can we meet? If somebody puts in a text in their email message, I need to speak with you, or I need to eat, I need to talk to you. If you haven't looked at it or responded to it, Google will send you what's a nudge, which would be a notification. Hey, you need to maybe check out this email, or you need to follow up on this email. It's not always correct, so you can't rely on it 100%, but it's kind of a neat feature to kind of help keep you on task if you need to. The hover actions will allow you to, when you hover over an email, you get access to, like it says, archiving, deleting, marking as read, and snoozing. I have this one, send an archive or hide send an archive. When I go to send an email, we'll go back here and I look at sending an email. When I go to reply to an email, you notice down here I have just the send button is in blue. If I'm replying to an email, I'll have the send button, and then I'll also have a send and archive. What send and archive does is it takes the email out of your mailbox inbox and it will still keep it. It doesn't delete it. It archives it. It kind of puts it away into a mailbox that you don't see. So if you need to pull it back up, you can get to it by searching for it. But if you don't need to pull it back up, it's hidden out of view. You have your notifications. These are the desktop notifications that you can put. Your desktop notifications will pop up right here at the bottom. You can do, anytime you get an email, it'll give you a notification if you're on the computer. If it's an important email, you can turn that on, or you can turn all of your mail notifications off. Labels, if you want to get into labels, these are things that you can set up and get your labels. Labels are going to be, or criteria that you could search your email by. When you go to your inbox, again, we've got the inbox type by default and just my primary email. But when you look here at your accounts, if you wanted to, you could add a different email account if you would like to for your personal email. Just be very conscious of saving information on a public or shared computer. You don't want to save your personal information, personal passwords, or anything like that onto there. Once you get your emails all set up and organized, you have the ability to also, in your Gmail, on your general, you can choose stars that you would like to use. If you have maybe, so like one of the things I use the stars for is I've put a star next to emails from my principal. So any email that my principal sends me is going to come with a gold star. That helps me visually see that this is something that's important or something that I need to pay attention to. Could be a teacher that you're working with. It could be maybe there's a parent, or how you can set up all of the criteria for stars and that you would like to, and how you want to use those stars. You can also update your picture. My picture here is done through Bitmoji. Bitmoji is a great add-on to Google Chrome. It's very simple, very easy to use. We talk a little bit about that, but I set up my Bitmoji or picture. Again, make sure that your picture is professional and is representative of you in the Albert Lea School District. You don't want to put anything up there that is not a professional image. And my signature, if you would like help with getting your signature, you do your signature here at this, and you put in your name, what your role is, your title, phone number that you can be reached at. If you're in a building, it might just be the main building number, and then you can copy and paste and put this information in. So you can see I've got here, I'm a certified trainer, and then the Albert Lea School District information. You can talk to your building tech coach to get the signature line, and they can help you create a signature if you would like to come up with a professional signature attached at the bottom of your email. This is a pretty neat thing because any email that I send, this information is always attached to the bottom of it, so it makes it easy for people to know who I am, how to get in contact with me, and where they can get a hold of me. And so this is where I can put my signatures, and it gives me everything that I've got here. I can also set up vacation reminders. So say I'm going to take a leave of absence, perhaps I'm having a surgery or I've got something going on, I can set up, I want to do my vacation responder. I put in the dates that I would like this to do. It will be an automatic reply, and I can put in, I'm out of the school for the next 3 days. I'll return on this day. This is who can help you. This is who you would need to contact. Or maybe you want to send out a message that I'm only available to check email from 12 to 1. So if you email me before that or after that, might be a day before I get back to you. You could set up that so that it goes every day or just one day, or however it is that you want to do that. Again, if you have some questions about automatic replies and vacation responders, you can send that. You can get with your building technology coach, and they can help you get through that as well. Any changes that you make, you would simply hit Save Changes, and that would update everything that you've got. And you can go back and change these at any time if you need to. This is a real quick tutorial on Google Mail. Hope you guys enjoy it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to your building technology coach.